I close my eyes, you can see there's a lot of gold here, and like a little bit of a halo thing. But if I look like this, I gotta like get up here, 1 second. If I look like this, now suddenly we can't even see that. We can't even see the gold, really. You know? It's like totally different. Yeah, I also have I have bags as well. Yeah, for any one of their eyes is hooded, one isn't. Yeah, I also have, it's not even close to the same, but I have, this is what everyone says. They're not twins, they're sisters. My eyes are not the same shape. They're not the same position in my head. One eye is slightly higher than the other. They're not the exact same shape. The eyelid is not the shape. I have much more eyelid space on, as you can see. I mean, you can just see if I look straight ahead, right? This eye has much more lid space, like much more than this one. However, right here, the crease comes in a different spot in this one. So it has more lid space in one area, but then in another area, it tends to end up flatter than this one because I can't get as good of a dramatic wing coming off of it, even though it has more lid space, so it's very weird. You hate seeing those differences in your photos? It makes you feel dysmorphic? Unfortunately, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know if there's like a cure for that, but it is the same for everyone. It's that thing of like people hate to see their face unmirrored. There's like an Abraham Lincoln. But you can see like, so this is, I don't know if this is the original. No, this is reverse, sorry. This is the original. But then you reverse it. And for everyone else, it's like, this is how everyone else sees him. But this is how Abraham Lincoln sees himself in the mirror, you know? And these are not they are the same face, but they're also not the same to your brain. So when you see this one, you're like, what the fuck? It freaks you out a little bit. And then of course they also have him mirrored down the middle, and you can see like the sides of your face are just different. Like if they mirror him on one side, it looks like this. If they mirror him on the other side, it looks like this, right? Faces are very not symmetrical. They're not meant to be symmetrical. It looks kind of uncanny if your face is too symmetrical as well. It looks a little strange. So the advice is when you take photos of yourself, right, you're going to see them flipped, right? You're going to see the flipped photo that you're not used to. The best advice is take some time away from the photos. Don't look at them. Give them a bit of time out of your mind, and then go look, and you'll look much more objectively. Because if you're like taking selfies and you see your unmirrored, or you see your face here, and it's your mirrored face because it's the one you see in the mirror, and it's what the selfie cam shows you. And then you're taking photos, and then you go look at your selfies, and they instantly switch because that's what happens, right? They mirror and they flip. When you look at them when they've just flipped, you're like, what am I looking at? What the fuck? What is this? If you take 5 or 10 seconds and look back at your photo, or no, like 5 or 10 minutes and look back, you're gonna have a much better perspective. Similarly, if I know from my own experience, if I go look at my own photos that are like 6 months old, I don't look at those 6 month old photos the same way that I looked at them the second I took them. Like even some of my favorite photos of all time, if I go back 6 months and I look at like a 6 months old photo, I'm like, this is not how I remember it looking when I looked at it before. Sarah, you said you flip them, like you have all your photos flipped basically. That helps a lot for your brain, I think. It can also be useful to have them flipped, then once you decide the one that you like the most, before you like post it or whatever or anything, then you flip it, if that makes sense. So yeah, childhood photos, like going back in time and looking at photos, like if you have siblings as well, this is a fun thing to do. If you have siblings, and you go look at a photo of your sibling from like 10 years ago or something, you're gonna be like, holy shit, that looks like me. Like, you're gonna see it. At the time, you would have no ability to see it, but when you go look at the photo like 10 years ago, and you see your fucking sibling, you're like, why does my sibling look like me? Why do I can see we have the, what the hell? It's trippy, you know? Or my parents as well. I remember seeing like an old family video of my mom and dad when they were like 25, 27 or something, and I was like, why can I see so many of my own facial traits here? Like, this is, I mean, it makes sense, obviously, but it blows your mind. A weird part of you is so disconnected to your childhood photos gender-wise, but you still like them. I think the childhood photos, I don't mind. It's kind of weird. There's photos of me that I don't mind, and there's definitely photos of me that I do mind. And I'm like, I don't want to look at this photo, honestly. You're a twin of your mom. It's so funny and also validating. I am very similar to my mom, but I'm actually much more similar. I used to have, when I look in the mirror, I can see my aunt on my dad's side. I can see her face in my face, which is really weird. But I can see, like, I can actually see her face in my face. Because like I look a lot like my dad as well. So I can see my dad's face in my face. And I can see but not now that I'm much more feminine presenting, I can see my aunt, honestly. It's so weird. You mean to Brazilian, but it might be because you haven't gone through puberty yet, so it's not as noticeable. I don't know, because there's no pain in those photos, I guess, is how I feel. Like, I don't mind to look at those photos because there's no pain in them, if that makes sense. There are, like, moments when I look at a photo and I just know in that photo I am in pain. Like, I can just tell, you know? I can just tell I'm in pain in those photos, and I can't look at those. But there are photos of me that are expressing, like, genuine joy, and those are fun to look at, no matter the time, I guess. Like, photos where I'm expressing genuine joy are, regardless of context, always okay to look at, I think. Usually. Not always, but usually they're okay to look at. And photos where I'm, like, actually, like, suffering, like, hurt me to look at. There's a lot of photos I took because I think I mentioned it takes me, like, 3 hours to take one photo. But that was always the case. Even when I was doing just, like, photos of myself, like, and I just started transitioning and I was practicing photography, I still took photos for 3 hours. It's just that, like, there were, I think I've mentioned this before on stream. I'm almost certain I have. There's a photo I can remember. I actually vividly remember it. I'm almost certain I can find it quickly even. I was trying to take headshots because I took a ton of headshots, even pre-FFS. I did a lot of headshots as well. But in the photo, it's fucked up. You can see the tears in my eyes in the photo. Like, you can literally see tears are in my eyes. I've been taking nothing but headshots for like an hour and a half, just taking photo after photo after photo after photo, and trying to get a photo where I felt happy about how I looked. And you can actually see in some of them that, like, I'm literally, like, in tears. Like, I'm not actually sobbing. You can just see that I'm like, yeah, I'm literally on the verge of crying the whole time. And those photos, like, suck to look at because they just remind me of, like, the mood I was in taking the photos, which is, like, depressed as fuck. There are other photos that I look at, I'm like, I know I was feeling good here. Like, I know I was in a good mood here. There are other photos that I know I felt like ass, but it doesn't matter that I felt like ass because I was actually, like, really happy with the photo, if that makes sense. A good example, I think, of a photo where I look like ass, but I feel good about it. This photo, I was going through it in this photo. I was absolutely going through it. I was suffering. It was 0 degrees, I think, or lower. It was actually, at one point, there was snow falling. It was freezing fucking cold. I was barefoot, not wearing a fucking coat, in a park. People were walking past me as I was taking the photo. People were walking past me while taking it. I was embarrassed. I was freezing. I was in pain. I was fucking suffering. I couldn't see the camera because I didn't have my laptop with me. Yeah, my hands look like they were free. Yeah, they were. You can't, harder to see here, but you can, I mean, you can kind of see the color, the tone change. When you hit my fingers, they get like red, they get much red. It was horrible. That's so funny. Ice cold. That's so funny. It was horrible. And I was suffering. And I cried after these photos. I sobbed. I was so upset. But I don't look at this photo. And when I look at this photo, I don't feel like pain looking at it. I'm like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Let's fucking go. Like, I worked for it, you know? I put myself through the fucking... I went through the fucking fire for that photo, you know? And I got it. And I did it. And I'm proud of myself for suffering till I got that photo.